The main purpose of chaplets used in foundry practice are to support the core. The main purpose of chaplets used in foundry practice are to support the core. A core chaplet is a metal location piece inserted in a mold either to prevent a core shifting its position or to give extra support to a core. The molten metal melts the chaplet, which then forms part of the cast metal. Core prints are used to Core prints are used to form sheet to support and hold the core in place. Core prints are used to form sheet to support and hold the core in place. Core prints. Generally, core prints are provided in cores. These prints are a sort of a projection at the end of the core, and these support the core in position in a mold. Design should provide space for core prints sufficiently large to locate the core accurately, prevent sagging, and resist the hydrostatic molten metal pressure. Due to saccage allowance, the pattern is made slightly smaller than the required size. Due to saccage allowance, the pattern is made slightly smaller than the required size. The property of molding sand, which does not provide any resistance to contraction of the solidified casting, is called collapsibility. The collapsibility, which is the property of the molding sand which does not provide any resistance of contraction of the solidified casting. Adhesiveness. Adhesiveness is the property of a sand due to which the sand particle sticks to the side of the molding box. Adhesiveness of sound enables the proper lifting of cork along with the sand. Refractoriness. Refractoriness is the property of sand. Refractoriness is the property of sand to withstand high temperature of molten metal without fusion or soften. Chills are Chills are metallic objects to provide very high heat extraction capability of sand mold. Chills are metallic object to provide very high heat extraction capability of sand mold. Normally, the metal in the mold cools at a certain rate relative to thickness of the casting. The atmosphere required in the furnace for nitriding the steel component is of ammonia. The atmosphere required in the furnace for nitriding the steel component is of ammonia. Nitriding is a heat treatment process that diffuses the nitrogen into the surface of the metal to create a case hardened surface. These processes are most commonly used in low carbon, low alloy steel. They are also used on medium and high carbon steel. Shrinkage allowance on the pattern is provided to take care of liquid and solid shrinkage. Shrinkage allowance on the pattern is provided to take care of both liquid and solid shrinkage. Decrease the clay content in the molding sand increases the permeability. Decrease the clay content in the molding sand increases the permeability. The addition of clay in sand increases the optimum moisture content. The addition of clay reduces the hydraulic conductivity of sand. The effective is very prominent up to 10% clay content, and beyond that reduction is permeability is gradually decreases. Refractoriness of molding sand can be increased by increasing the grain size. Refractoriness is the ability of the molding material to withstand the high temperature of the molten metal to be poured so that it does not get fused with the metal. The refractoriness of the silica sand is highest. Refractoriness is measured by the center point of the sand. Refractoriness of the molding sand can be increased by increasing the grain size. Chills are used in the casting to improve the directional solidification. This is the metallic object of a high thermal conductivity and high melting point temperature used to provide uniform cooling, maximum heat transfer at a minimum cross section in a mold cavity to maximize the heat transfer rate and provide the directional solidification. Which of the following generally has a square cross section? Builds. Built. Built has a square cross section. Ingot. Ingot is a brick of cast iron poured of a foundry or drained out of the bloomery. Size is dependent on the size of the foundry and the intent used for the ingot. Bloom. A bloom is an intermediate product, rectangular in shape with a cross-sectional area typically larger than 6 centimeter square, 6 inch square. Built Slab. A slab is an intermediate shape between an ingot and a plate with a width at least twice its thickness. Built. A built can be round or square with cross-sectional area. Bell shape are generally made by sweep pattern. Sweep pattern is used bell shape or 3D symmetrical object casting. Property of molding sand that allows the gas to be escaped from the mold is called permeability. The property of molding sand that allows the gas to be escaped from the mold is called permeability. Refractoriness is the property of molding sand that withstand high temperature of molten metal. Which of the following process is suitable for making the hollow part with thin section? Blow molding. Blow molding is a specific manufacturing process by which the hollow plastic parts are formed and can be joined together. It is also used for forming glass bottles or other hollow shapes. The blow molding process begins with melting down the plastic and forming it into a paration, or in the case of injection and injection stretch blow molding perform. The paration is a tube-like piece of plastic with a hole in one end through which compressed air can pass. The paration is thin clamped into a mold and air is blown into it. A tapper provided on the pattern for its easy and clean withdrawal from the mold is known as draft allowance. It is a tapper which is given to all the vertical walls for the pattern for easy and clean withdrawal of the pattern from the sand without damaging the mold cavity. It may be expressed in millimeter per meter on side of or in degrees. The amount of tapper varies with the type of pattern. The wooden pattern require more tapper than the metal pattern because the greater frictional resistance of the wooden surface. Draft angle is provided for forced part for easy removal from die cavity. Draft angle is provided for forced part for easy removal from die cavity. The main advantage of using CO2 molding is that is much hardened mold is obtained. The main advantage of CO2 molding is that much hardened mold is obtained. The ratio of surface energy term to volume energy term in the nucleation energy equation at a critical condition during the solidification process is minus 3 by 2. In a casting process, a molding dimensional 60 into 30 into 14 is to be filled by the liquid at the top pouring. The liquid metal height above the top surface of the mold is 14 centimeter and the area of the gate is 6 centimeter square. Time taken to fill the mold is TF. Time filling is equal to AM by AM AMHM by AGVG, where Vg is equal to root under 2GHT. So putting value, then we get the answer. Which condition is non-favorable for the continuous chip? Brittle workpiece. Brittle workpiece is non-favorable condition for continuous chip. The DC welding power source has the linear voltage current characteristic with an open circuit voltage of 80 volt and a short circuit current of 300 ampere for a maximum R power. The current should be set at 150 ampere. Thank you.